Everybody, how you doing on this lovely day? On this lovely podcast, this lovely, shining, radiant day that we get to breathe and take in and let out. Because do you care about yourself, kid?
Yes!
That's what I love to hear. I love hearing people say that they care about themselves and care about others. Because this is what it's all about, sharing and giving back. And for today's episode, we're talking about reservations. Because if you was paying attention last week, we were talking about depression and the fact that this is the month of mental health awareness. Although every month there's awareness of something, sometimes we just have to take the time to narrow down on one subject at a time and tackle it on to make the mountain seem like we're conquering it. In fact, not even seem, but we are conquering it. And in that name of mental health, and not having a reservation, let me tell you what reservations is in mental health. Reservations is making excuses to continue a habit that you need to separate yourself from. Though time has passed, situations occur which can put you back into a habit state. You know, to go back to what you're seeking to get away or to better yourself from, it is a letdown. It's a self letdown. You're letting self down first before you let everyone else down. So making excuses to continue a habit you need to separate yourself from. But we're gonna jump to the audience because this is really about the audience and not just about me. So we're gonna go with the first question. Tell us about a time you had a reservation. Tell us about a time you had an excuse that only you was telling yourself.
Yeah, I can start. Something as simple as I was going to change my eating habits because they was telling me about potato chips and Pepsi. And I tell you, I had reservation. I kept that 6-pack of Pepsi, and I just kept it in there. I said, I'm not going to waste my money and throw it away. When in actuality, now in retrospect, I realized I had reservations.
Yeah.
And on the most convenient time, I was like, bump that. I'm going to go get one of those cold Pepsis on this hot day. But if they wasn't in the refrigerator, I wouldn't have had that option.
All right, we'll make sure we'll leave them out the refrigerator for you.
Yeah, but just something as simple as that.
Yes. Anyone else?
I said they three of them.
Give you a little bit of definition about reservation. Reservation is a thought process, right? It's about you locking and loading. You know what I mean? For the relapse. Whatever it may be. Come from the thought first, and then all that thought it turns into you're locking and loading. And you're doing the relapse.
You're doing it.
Yes.
Wow.
You jumped into question number 2 though. So yes, it is true. It is a relapse. We'll take another, Brenda.
Oh, I was gonna say, okay, when before I had went to detox and stuff, we had a can of beer, and when I went to the detox, and then I went to the women's center. When I got out, that can of beer was still sitting there. So I was like, "Well, what you still got that beer for? Throw that beer away." And he was saying, "No, I'm just gonna hold on to this beer." For what? I say, "You holding on to it because you got reservations, right?"
Yeah.
I say, "So we need to get rid of that because I'm fresh out the program."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to get rid of that. So he still kept wanting to hold on to it, and I said no, because then I'm gonna start getting reservations. So I had to open that bill and throw it away.
You know that I might as well leave it out there because we're jumping from question 1 straight into 2, Because question 2, with what Humphrey said and with what Brenda was saying about letting it go, casting it away, and just separating yourself. Of course, you can't have it there because you're just going to grab it because it's there. It's like being a child. They woke up in the middle of the night and saw you eat and said, Mommy, I'm hungry. No, you only want food because you saw it. You know? It's also a learned behavior in which we go through knowingly or unknowingly. So, like, question 2 states, what are techniques or steps people can use to break from a habit and not make reservations?
That's a good question.
First of all, I take my recovery serious.
Mm-hmm.
It must come first, right? I got a sponsor,
Mm-hmm.
right? I go to OP with EVers. I have a recovery specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I stay plugged up. I stay connected. When I go through something, first person I call is my sponsor.
Keep yourself supported. Yes.
That's the first person I call.
Mm.
And I have women in the fellowship that I can call. And no necessarily have to be my sponsor sometimes. See, I have a lot of women that's in my corner.
People who help you keep accountable.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm staying on the right path. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't be around people, place, and thing because every day I walk out my door, I have to challenge myself because it's everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. And I'm getting stronger. I'm in my learning process. But the main thing, I work with my attitudes and behavior.
Not them on you.
It must come first. And I'm in the process of getting to know who I am. I'm not in a relationship. And that's true. Because I don't need the distraction.
Have that relationship with you.
With me.
Yes.
Now look, right? For these 2 dear ladies here, right, they should be knowing the answer to that. You know what I'm saying? Because this is all about that how you say it?
CADC.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta know.
What are some techniques?
Yeah, you have to know the techniques.
Techniques for setting, like, not relapsing.
I'll say what
Yes.
I did. I was in recovery court, right? My reservation after, as soon as I get off this, I am getting demolished, and I'm gonna have a great time. That's just the truth, right? But instead, right? What did I do? I said I took the resources they gave me, and I said I'm gonna benefit from this in a whole positive and a whole nother different direction. You know, I got college paid for, completely paid for my records.
Come on,
Completely
somebody.
Speak that truth.
Into this beautiful program, and I just got into the world of recovery, and now I don't even think about it. That's not even on my mind or nothing. Yeah. So that's what I did.
And that is a good answer because that right there is the avoided tact is the relapse. You got to replace it with a network.
Yes.
Yes. Hi, I'm Bob. One of the things that I found out is that a lot of times we set ourselves up. We set ourselves up for failure because we put expectations on ourselves. And when I start trying to say, you know what, I can handle this. I know I still love her, and I ain't delete her phone number. And
Hey, a woman can be
I
that
block
problem
her,
too.
You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden I get a call. And what happens is that I forget about, the real deal, and I start living in the moment. And what happens is when I start living in the moment, I start making decisions just for that moment. And when that moment is over with, now I'm mad at myself for giving into those decisions. See, what happens is with me is I got to catch myself before I get involved. If I get involved and I'm on my way to the cop, man, ain't no way you stopping me. So what happens with me is I got to stop myself before I get into the mood of going to the cop, man. One of the things I learned about addiction, whatever your addiction is, when it starts this process, it's going to run its full cycle. And there's nothing we can do sometimes but allow it to take its course. You know, and hopefully that I'll be able to follow, to survive after the outcome. But Sarah said it, knowing thyself. I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. You know, so that's how I stay away from, setting myself up for reservations. And let me say one other thing. And I think Samantha said it. And I said, if my mom's die, I'm getting high. Yeah. And that was years before she died. What happened is when my mom's died, I had a support group. And they didn't allow me to be myself, allowing my disease to come in and take place, and I got through it clean. That's it.
And that's important.
And I like how William said it's a thought process. And I think that's what you're saying, Bobby, that if you don't control those thoughts, it's going to become an action. And it's too late once it's an action mode. Right? So while it is a thought, and so I've trained myself through my intimacy to train my thoughts. First thing in the morning, throughout the day, I'm training my thoughts because I know if it goes too far, I can't. I'm already out there. I already did it. Maybe not in action, but I did it. And I played it all the way out. Now my dreams, I can't help me in my dreams. Trust me, I be stoned. I be coughing in my dreams. Hey, it's a dream. Yeah. I can't control my dream. But the minute I wake up, I can control that. And my pastor told me he still be having drug dreams.
It's a reality, too.
Right. And so just being able to control that thought process. That's where the reservation is at. It's in that thought. Where you just still entertaining it and not arresting it right there. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, Amy, I ain't want her to wait too long.
I'm going to kind of go off with what Bobby said. You set yourself totally up for, when you're going to relapse. It's already happening. It doesn't just happen like that. It's already played out in your head. So that's why I think you need resources to talk to people and be able to explain what's going on. Because I know with me, it could be every minute, every 5 minutes. It could be seconds. It's not just, today I feel like using. It could be 5 minutes I feel like using. 5 minutes from now I feel like using. But you need a network of people around you that are going to understand and not judge you. Yes. That's the big difference with addiction. A lot of people judge.
Instead
of love.
Whether
it's addiction, whether it's overeating, whether it's domestic violence, a lot of people tend to judge before they want to help. So that's just my outlook on that.
I want to say one more thing too. For me, I just don't only want to talk that talk. I want to walk that walk too. Because if I don't, I'm going to be there and walk myself right to the dope man. So instead of just talking that talk, I got to walk that walk. That means get a support group, do service work, stay busy, get a sponsor, and make meetings for me. So that way, I won't have to walk myself to the drug dealer.
I think another technique is honesty.
Yes.
Just being honest. Yeah. Be honest of what you felt. I felt that. And being around folks where I can be honest. Because a lot of times, folks, you're around fake people. You're not going to be honest. So you're stuck in those feelings, and then they're going to act out later when you're under pressure.
Feeling like nobody can really understand what you're saying or say what you're feeling. Because I'm going to speak for myself. I had a reservation, and I took my reservation. My reservation was I had a bottle of Fireball. And yes, I had a bottle of Fireball, and I drank it all to myself. I left it in my grandmother's car because I was like, you know what? I'm going to drink this on the day of when this happens because this is what I'm working for. And certain things kind of threw me off before I can actually do them. And when the day came that I was feeling some kind of way because I was like, this was the day that I was trying. I let a couple days slide, but then it was just like, it was eating at me. And then I just popped that bottle open. and lost my mind.
Can I elaborate on when you finish?
You can go. I was finished. I lost my mind then. But I came back. I came back to myself because I knew I had to go to work the next day and face myself.
So did you do it?
Oh yes, I faced myself.
No, the fireball.
Yes. It was hot. But yes, I conquered it.
I just want to look at it in another perspective. When I think of reservation, I think of reserving yourself. Like if you go into a restaurant and you want to reserve a spot, so you're gonna make that reservation so that spot will be held for you.
Yes.
So when I thought about reservation, I thought about God keeping me in where I need to be, so I'm there when it's expected to be. Meaning, don't go out and rear to the left and to get into something else that I know I don't have no business being
That's a
in.
spiritual reservation.
So, right. So to be reserved for my reservations, meaning to be kept, so I can be there when my reservations time for my reservations. That means keeping that time you set out. And this is your time. This is your reservation. I just looked at it at another point of view. Just reserving myself for the reservation, meaning keeping myself so when the reservation's there, I'm there on time.
Yo,
I like that.
Obey your service, baby.
that should be a good positive like the yin to the yang. We got the bad of the understanding of what reservation is, which we're talking about right now. So then when you yes and bringing that up in this talk for the viewers and even us right here to even hear that from that perspective, I would rather have a spiritual reservation than a earthly reservation, because I know that earthly one to keep me messed up. So I would rather look up to the hills in which that reservation will come.
Come on. Come on.
I just want to say reservation have a lot of different attributes. Recovery, as far as dealing with recovery, reservation is meaning, you know what I'm saying, a totally different, it has a totally different impact.
Yes.
Negative connotation. It's a negative.
So we should make a positive out of
I'm
it.
being positive.
We should definitely make a positive out of that. And for the viewers out there and the audience, I have one last question for you. In fact, two in the closing. Do you believe that with your experience of recovery, that reservations can be revised and habits conquered?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we believe in.
Absolutely, I'll speak on that.
Go ahead, Tyrone.
Yes, absolutely, because talking about mindset, being able to use your spiritual thinking underneath a different approach and have a different perspective on life itself.
Yes.
When you're able to have changed your mind and be transformed to a new person, you think different and you know different ideas and you have a different perspective on life itself. That's all I got.
I'll take one more.
I did mention old behaviors. You just said that. That's the first thing you got to work on your old behaviors. But you continue on doing your old behaviors, you're doomed to repeat. You understand?
Yes.
And I also just want to say that it's all about replacing bad behaviors with good behaviors.
Yes.
Because if you just stop doing something, you could be a dry drunk. But if you didn't work on yourself and fill it with some positives, that's also setting yourself up for what we call self-sabotage, where you start doing little things that is sabotaging your victory, because in the back of your mind, you don't really think you're going to be successful. So you got to be careful with that, especially when it seems like, you're just having a bad day, right? Or somebody is saying something negative. You got to learn to, put a deaf ear to the naysayers.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah.
And then they gonna come later and be like, "Oh, I always knew you could do it." Lie.
Say it.
You was wishing me I I would have failed.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't fall. I'm
Amen.
still here.
Yeah. I got the victory.
Yes.
If a viewer's an audience, can you just shout victory one more time?
Victory.
Because we care about our self-care.
Yes, we do.